Anyway,
We are ready? Okay.
I am ready. Alrighty, so this will be the first recorded session
Yay!
of the campaign that I'm running, because I figured that, John has one and Caboose has one, so fuck it, I have one. My name is Delhandril, and you are listening to Mighty Mr. Mustache, the mightiest mustache in the universe's channel. I am joined here by Nimi and Leo, also known as Caboose. And my name is James. I run this merry band of misfits.
Yay! I'm a
Come join
misfit.
our clan. It's awesome. We have blackjack and hookers, and now we play Skyforge. Shameless plug. Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Yeah!
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And yeah, so this campaign was based off of a choose-your-own-adventure that I've seen going around. I actually found it on Pinterest. Yes, I am a pleb that uses Pinterest. Fight me. And I found it on Pinterest. It linked me back to the actual Funny Junk thread where I saved all the pictures to my hard drive. The plot line behind this campaign is that the original plot line of the CYOA, the Choose Your Own Adventure, was that the year is 2020, the apocalypse happened in 2012, and now there's this huge lack of technology and magic resurfaced in the world. The way I'm running it is that the world already had magic in it. It's a world called Drathrian, a world that I wrote along with one of my buddies, who is now, I kind of don't talk to him, so now it's mine. But Drathrian was written in a world building session. It was kind of already like a little bit of a grimdark fantasy type of deal, really nitty, really gritty, and real nitty, real gritty.
Was there a dirt band?
And what's up?
Was there a dirt band?
There was a dirt band.
Here
Yes.
you go, nitty dirt band. We got the hat trick.
And so it's kind of still being worked on slowly, but I have more than enough ready to go. So Drathrian in this campaign suffered a magical apocalypse. Basically some kind of like Ragnarok reckoning type of deal, magic is way out of whack. There's very few people who have actually learned to master it, and they're called hunters. In this campaign, all of my players are playing what we like to call great hunters. They hunt basically anything that is not a world-eating titan, right? So the beasts that they hunt are big game like John, or a kraken, which Caboose killed in his intro campaign. Their characters' names really quick, just so that this way you know who they are. Caboose's character is Tyrius Velgarth, the Thunderous Terror, and John's character is Fulfen the Feral. So I'm not going to run through Caboose's intro campaign because it's already been done, which is kind of depressing because it turned out really well. And yeah.
Interested in time travel? Meet here last Thursday, 7 p.m.
Thunderous terror. Encounters at least Drathrian and the universe are two separate people from everybody else. But only to Tyrius. Tyrius encounters terror like Sinners. So the reason to live.
Sure. So Tyrius used to come from a place called Calderane. It's a big mountain range, many miles long. And the Calderanian mountains held refuge to a great number of citadels, about 60 of them. On one of the highest peaks is where Norvith, the citadel of Norvith, is located, where Caboose came from. And there was a council of riders called the Riders of Calderane. And these riders all rode all manner of beasts, right? Nightmares, unicorn, pegasi, rocks, like Caboose has. If you don't know what a rock is, it's basically a wyvern-sized bird, like a siege bird, So like a dragon-sized bird, and it's literally a thunderbird from Native American lore. So they use air and lightning magic and shit like that. Some of them actually rode dragons. But anyway, so he was a rider of Calderane. And all of the unified citadels had this big treaty with each other, and one of them came up to Caboose and said, why don't we enter a truce, like a ceasefire with each other? Everyone's kind of like, we're already in a ceasefire. What the hell are you talking about? So like all of the citadels kind of started to get really petty, and they wanted each other's territory and all that type of shit. And basic human nature basically kind of ran its course. So Tyrius steps down as the commander of the Citadel of Norvith. They're called champions. So he is now the fell champion of the Citadel of Norvith. There was a small ceremony in where he made a new commander, shit like that. 15 citadels contracted my character, Thevalion, to have him assassinated. And, just in a bout of, fear and shit like that, and kind of ran the hell away. Not really in fear, more along the lines of, I know I can't really screw with that guy, I'm gonna go. So, knowing that he had met his match type of deal. So, now, for the past 4 years, he's just kind of been on the run. And he assumed the pseudonym, the Thunderous Terror. And that's really all about I could say without giving away too many spoilers to his character. So now we're going to run Volfan the Feral, who is John's character.
Yay! I like
We're
Volfan.
going to run your little intro campaign. And one of the reasons why I like to do this is because it gets the person immersed into the world. It kind of shows them what it's all about. Some of the lexicons of terms that they're going to be familiar with throughout the course of the campaign. It gives them a little bit of a taste before they start to interact with other characters, and I like to do that for everyone, just because it's a cool thing. So, yeah, Volfan. You are in the wilds, as you always are.
Mm-hmm. I have a cave.
Noticed you have a cave. So your cave is probably somewhere in a place called the Land Left Abandoned. In Drathrian, there's a massive area between all of the big areas called the Fog, where a lot of really horrible creatures are. And the Land Left Abandoned is a city that worshipped, the little celestial pantheon called the Five during the old times when the Five were just a new concept. So the Land Left Abandoned is home to a lot of necromancers and shit like that. It kind of lays nestled away in the valley where the fog is at its most dense. So your cave is probably somewhere around in there because not many things screw with you anymore.
Not really.
There is a lot of forest that's there, so you've kind of claimed that as your ground, and you found this little what used to be a wolf den that you've claimed as your home. So it's pretty deep. It's it's enough to house yourself, being 10 feet tall, rather comfortably. So one day you decide to venture out, and excuse me. You decide to venture out of your cave because you're like, I need food. My stores are getting low. Let's go get some.
Right.
So, what do you do?
I head out, definitely. By this point, I figure I've lived in this area quite a long time. The character I've built here, Volfan, has an extremely high endurance and strength, meaning he's also very long-lived. He's been here a long time, possibly 20 years. He's made the cave comfortable. He's marked out a territory that the creatures and other things that come through here know is his. And they tend to not mess with it. And of course he patrols it from time to time just to make sure that nothing unnatural passes through or has taken up residence. So yeah, if I need food, I'm heading out into the forest. I'm collecting. I don't eat a lot of meat. I probably keep some beehives, and if I do keep any animals, it's mostly for milk. I probably have a small area where I grow, cool mushrooms that I like and that kind of thing. And Yeah, I don't like hurting animals if I don't have to.
Right.
So yeah, so I head out to collect various things and head in
So,
whichever direction takes my fancy.
All right. So you notice that the area that you're in right now is a little bit brighter than usual. So it's probably sometime around midday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, because the fog is so thick in the land left abandoned, you can't really see the sun exactly, but it's a little bit brighter than usual, so you assume it's again sometime around midday. So you kind of head south, I'm gonna say.
Sure.
And really quick, I want you to make a perception check.
Okay. I don't have any special abilities in perception. I have stealth, strength, and endurance. I roll a 10.
Cool. Okay, so there's a few crows that have kind of roosted in the trees, which is about usual for this time of year. The year, by the way, for Drathrian is quite a bit longer than an actual year on Earth. A year in Drathrian lasts 16 months. Most of which are kind of just bisected into, you know, like different seasons. There's 5 seasons, but there's 16 months.
Okay.
So, for the time of year, the amount of crows that there are around, it's pretty usual. The bears really haven't started to come out yet, which is good, so you don't have to deal with them. But you do see, something that kind of looks like an airborne jellyfish.
Okay.
Which, for this part of the fog, is a little bit unusual.
Do I recognize what it is? Does it mean anything to me? Have I seen this before? Have I heard of it before? I rolled a natural 20. Wow, that's like the first time in a while.
So you know exactly what this is.
That's
You've
so
heard
cool.
legend and tell about it. This is a thing called the feasting fog. Areas deep in the fog, it is said that the mists themselves can eat a man alive. And to an extent this is true, though it's not the fog itself so much as a predator indistinguishable from the fog's embrace.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a lot like an airborne jellyfish. The body itself of the feasting fog is almost nearly transparent. Additionally, light pours from its body, allowing itself to blend in perfectly to its natural environment, so that the feasting fog can envelop its prey before it even knows it's there. And it's just kind of sitting there floating. It's not really doing a whole hell of a lot. And then all of a sudden a crow kind of flows a little bit too close towards it, and it snaps really, really quick. Like a bunch of its tentacles just launch upwards and grab the crow out of the air, and then you just kind of see the crow vanish.
Well, that won't do.
So?
It's in my territory. It's eating my companions, the only things that keep me company in this area. It's got to go.
Okay. So
I'm gonna harpoon it.
Cool.
I'm gonna drag it out. So Wolfen hefts a harpoon that is 14 feet long with a shaft that's 4 inches thick. At the end are 3 horns spreading out in like a trident formation that are made from great rhino horn.
Nice.
And he just takes a little half hop step and just whoosh, whips this thing as hard as he can right at it.
Roll to see if you hit and add 3.
Okay.
You're gonna get a +3 anytime you try and hit anything with your harpoon because you throw it so hard.
Okay, that is a 16.
After your bonus?
After the bonus, yeah, 16.
Nice. Okay, so you managed to hit this thing almost right in its center of mass.
Okay.
And it is like literally impaled to the tree, and you just hear this horrible squelch and a high-pitched squeal.
Okay, it is tethered with my rank 4 hook. Impossible to tear free unless I let it go, and it is tethered.
Yep.
And I start dragging.
It's just squealing horribly in pain.
I'm dragging it towards me to finish it off. I can drag it at up to 10 meters per second.
Right.
So I just grab the tether. It's actually a mystical tether because it's unlimited in length at this point. And I just pull as hard as I can and just drag this thing towards me. How big is it?
Right. Once it actually gets up closer to you, the body of this thing is 4 feet across, and some of its tentacles are exceeding 10 feet in length.
Haha. Okay. Well, as soon as I get it close enough to finish off, I'm going to smash it with the last resort, which is
Cool.
my mason chain, which is, well, not a chain. It's a obsidian ball about the size of a bowling ball, maybe even a little bigger. Weighs a good 50 pounds, and has dragon spines sticking out of it. So like a giant morning star on the end of a rope that I've twisted out of vines and skins from like alligators and crocodiles and things that are particularly tough.
Right.
And can take the sheer amount of strength I swing with.
Yeah. So because it's like right there, I'm not even gonna make it.
Yeah, I just swing around and smash.
Right. So roll a d6 really quick. Your d6 is basically your damage severity dice. This is kind of like a homebrewed little thing that I got going on, and it's going to use a little bit of influence from World of Darkness. It's very roleplay driven. You're not going to be making a whole hell of a lot of rolls unless you're in combat or like perception checks and shit like that.
Cool. I rolled a 5.
Nice. Okay, so this thing literally just goes. Like all of its guts are fucking spewed everywhere, and you see, much to your dismay, the 3/4 digested remains of a crow.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the way nature works. You're either hunter or you're food.
Yep. And feasting fog digests very quick.
I'm going to take some time and patrol what I consider the borders of my territory.
Right.
I probably spread out a couple of square miles, so I have enough room to always have food and things living in the area that I can interact with and collect from and harvest. So, but not much more. I'm not greedy, and that way. So I'm going to patrol that area and see if there's any evidence of the fog or the feasting fog having made other inroads, because this is new.
Okay. So you're just kind of moseying along, and as you start to get towards the northern border, where you know that the outlying machines that turn the fog into drinkable water for the settlement of Daggerdale, which is one of the only safe settlements in the fog.
Yeah, it's where I'm originally from.
As you start to get towards the borders of Daggerdale, you start to notice a couple things that are really weird that you've actually never seen before, like literally in your entire life. You're kind of well versed in the ways of the Five. You used to be a worshiper of, what's it called? The Lord, who is the patron god of farmers, hunters, and life and death. So, but there was one goddess that you never really quite knew a whole hell of a lot about. And there's a person that's maybe about half your height, so about 5 feet. And they're covered entirely in ice blue, black, and purple robes. They're wearing a really baggy hood that covers their entire face, and their skin is excruciatingly pale. So, telltale signs of worshippers of the Pale Lady, but you've never seen a worshipper of the Pale Lady anywhere near Daggerdale.
You lost, friend?
And the character looks at you, the hood's still covering their face, but it's a woman, clearly, when she speaks, and she says, "No, I know exactly where I am," in an excruciatingly calm voice.
What's your business here? I guard these lands.
I seek refuge in Daggerdale.
Well, then on your way to Daggerdale, I'm certain they will give you entrance.
Even a worshipper of the Pale Lady?
None of my business. I only protect Daggerdale from those things that they can't protect themselves from. Gods are their own business.
And she just kind of nods very slowly at you. And as she walks away, you see a creature, again, that you've never seen before. And it almost looks like a shard of glass. And there's a lot of them, actually. It's shards of glass, and they're in like a school, quote unquote, of about like 20. And they're all just kind of following her around wherever she goes.
And I've never seen this before?
No.
You have an interesting companion. I've never seen that in the wild.
These are razorfish. They're from the Sanctum of Glass.
I will put that in my collection of knowledge. And I do. I remember from now on. There's a thing called razorfish. They move in schools, and they come from the Sanctum of Glass.
Cool. So,
do they look particularly dangerous, or are they just following her?
No, they're just following her.
None of my business.
Like
then.
every so often, they just kind of circle around her in like this nice little like cool figure 8 pattern. You know how like
and they're not having
dolphins
any
can like follow people around.
Sure, and they're not having any real interaction with the forest or anything around it.
No.
All right.
Every
then.
so often, maybe one of them will just kind of like bounce off of a tree because it's like really fucking boggy. But you know they're not marring the bark or you know.
Then they are welcome to be on their
touching
way.
the ground really in any specific way. So
Then they are welcome to be on their way.
cool. So they all just kind of mosey on along. But that's the first time you've ever actually seen a worshiper of the Pale Lady. Most people who are in what's it called, Daggerdale, are worshippers of like the soldier because you know there's a lot of blacksmiths and shit like that there, or worshippers of the Lord because you know a lot of hunters come out of Daggerdale in order to go out and go hunting in the fog for food.
Sure. As far as I know, I mean they don't want to all kill each other, so necessarily.
They interact rather peacefully, actually.
Yeah. So
People of the Lord and people of the soldier actually get along really well.
now, what about the Pale Lady?
That much has remained to be seen.
Okay. Well, as I said, she doesn't look like, to me anyway, like a threat to an entire city. If she is, then there isn't much I can do about it anyway.
Right.
If tiny little her can threaten an entire city, then she's got power that I'm probably not equipped to face.
Right. So, excuse me. Yeah, you keep going on your patrol.
Yeah, that's it.
And eventually, once you get to the very western edge, you start to see the giant clock tower of Vietnam in the distance, and the black and red, or the dark gray and crimson red flags of Vietnam. And you can hear screams in the distance. Like, very distinctly, you can hear screams. You don't even need to roll perception. You, like, clear as day.
Okay, now I pick
screams.
up. Okay, now I pick up my pace. I'm heading for those screams as quickly as I can. At my size and my strength, that's fast.
Oh yeah.
I'm literally clearing 40 feet with every step.
Yep. So yeah, you're like full on sprinting. You're just heading.
Yep.
And now I want you to make a perception check.
Perception check. Let's say that's a 9.
Okay. You just keep running. You're just dead focused on your
Yep.
path, and out from your left flank, you hear a really big roar before something bites your ankle.
All right, it bites my ankle, and I literally, as it bites my ankle, I just sort of grunt, spin, and back fist whatever it is. It's like crunch.
You see, yeah. You see, this thing actually managed to make a couple decent sized marks in your skin. Did actually at one point it drew blood. So
Wow.
whatever this thing is, its jaws are fucking strong. But you see a black, patchy furred lycanthrope. Its limbs are excruciatingly long. It's fucking disgusting. It reeks of blood. And like, you know, just fucking horrible gore and viscera are covering its mouth. This thing looks absolutely vile. And yeah, so not only is there one of them, there's probably more of them, because you've heard of the blood plague of Vietnam.
Right.
Where there's one lycanthrope, there's probably quite a few more following.
Okay. What do I know about lycanthropes? Am I equipped to take one of these things down? Oh my god, I rolled another 20. Jordan, confirm that for me. Did you say 20? What's that white one say?
That's a 20.
20? Alright, there we go. It's a 20.
You are literally the lexicon of beast knowledge.
Yep. There you go.
A long-limbed wolf-like creature that cannot tell friend from foe. They are bloodthirsty, extremely dangerous, and will attack without provocation. Often clad in patchy black fur, lycanthropes are extremely short-sighted and rely very heavily on scent and sound to navigate their environment and hunt for prey. They originated in Vietnam during the blood plague of the Fourth Age, and they are said to be mockeries of the Reaper, whose creations are often the most perverse of all.
Okay, so killing them just involves beating them to death at this point.
Basically.
All right, I just wanted to make sure that it didn't take some sort of special, magical, quick-witted thing. Nope, that's it. So it bit me. I grunted. I turned and I went smack with a fist the size of a sledgehammer.
Roll for damage. Roll your d6.
All right. I only rolled a 1.
Okay. You literally just backhand it, and it just kind of grunts back at you, and howls. You hear the scuffling of claws off in the trees in the distance.
Cool. I'll fight. All right.
Alrighty. So the lycanthrope launches for another attack. I'm gonna roll a d20 to see if it hits. Fuck, it fell off my desk. There we go. Okay, it goes for a lunge, and because of how blind it is, it completely fucking misses.
Okay.
Literally completely misses. These have a -3 to hit with anything because they're so fucking blind.
Okay.
But yeah, just completely, you just sidestep out of the way. You're just kind of and I'm gonna step over here.
I step over. I step over as it goes. I grab it by the throat, crush my hand closed, and slam it into a tree.
It's
and
dead.
That's an 18.
Yeah, it's dead. It's literally dead. I'm not even gonna make you roll damage for that because of how strong you are. It's you literally just crush its windpipe, and then as you smack it against the tree, you break its spine, and its fucking cranium just caves in. You see, literally gray matter is pouring out of its ears.
Now where are the rest coming from?
Roll perception.
Yep. Let's see. That's better. That's a 16.
Nice. All right, so you can hear one of them kind of all north and northwest. You can hear another one coming from the south and another one coming from the east.
Okay. Whichever one is closest, I'm literally going to lean into the tree and push the tree down on it.
Okay, so you just kind of sit there and listen for a second. You kind of take a knee, and there's 3 trees all around you, which is perfect.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to wait for I hear one coming, and I'm just going to go, just shove the tree right down on top of it as it comes through. Just try and crush it under there and pin it down.
So these things don't even have any clue of what you're doing. Once you stop moving, you're just kind of listening. They also all stop moving. And you're just sitting there listening. And eventually you hear a twig snap, and it's to your northwest.
All right, I just lean right into a tree as hard as I can, just shoulder charge it, and I rolled a 16, and just knock it down.
Nice. So I'm gonna give you +40 your rolls with strength.
Okay, so that adds up to a 20
against you for actually we'll do +2 because endurance is mostly you'll do a d6 for endurance, and then you get a +2 to your stealth rolls too because you only have stealth 1.
Yeah, I have rank 2 endurance, rank 2 strength, and rank 1 stealth.
Right. So yeah, you just lean into this thing and it just just falls over. So the wolf, the lycanthrope, has literally no time to react. You lean into it so hard that it just almost instantaneously slams into the ground, and it's flattened. It's completely just gone. The only thing that you see every so often is limbs twitching from underneath the tree.
Perfect. I jump up on the tree where that thing's twitching and figure the sound will draw the other ones.
Right. So you jump up onto the tree, and 80 gajillion twigs snap as you hop onto it, and just because of your own weight, the tree starts to creak underneath you as it sinks into the bog. And you're sitting there and you're listening, and I want you to make another perception check really quick.
Right. That's a 1. That's a suck.
Okay. You cannot tell where they're coming from. They must have gone into complete prowl mode. They're moving really, really slowly and very quietly. So at this point, one of them actually manages to jump out of the woods, and fuck, get the hell back here. Why do I keep dropping my dice? So, holy shit. Okay, so this thing leaps out of the woods, and it manages to latch onto your wrist, and you hear its jaw, more so you see. You see its jaw kind of like move forward and adjust for a second. It locks. It's not moving, and it's just sitting there like tearing its head back and forth, trying to get your hand separated from your body. And it's drawing a lot of blood.
Damn. All right. I pull my arm against my body. With my other hand, I grab the top of its head and literally pry it off.
Roll strength really quick and add your 4.
That's plus 4. That's 19.
Nice. So you literally yank so hard that this son of a bitch's top of its head separates from its spine. So you're just, and you just like this thing goes flying off into the distance as you let it go, and you just scream in a blood-fueled rage.
That should bring them.
Oh yeah. So the last one goes for a lunge out of the fog, and it goes zooming past you, and it just kind of lands on the other side of the tree where you're standing, and it whips around, and it's just staring right at you. Can you hear you breathing?
Yep, and as it turns around and it comes towards me, I just lean forward and just lift my right leg and punt kick the fucker as hard as I can.
That'll be another strength check.
Yeah, haul off, and that's a 17. Just
nice. So this thing, you hear a few cracks. You hear a few very, very loud cracks, and its neck almost kind of looks dislocated, but for some reason, this son of a bitch is still moving. So it starts running at you with its head lolling around fucking everywhere, like a newborn centaur.
No, that's just wrong. And as it comes forward, I just step on it.
Alright, so really quick.
If it helps, that's a 23.
Wow, okay. So yeah, you just lift up your leg and like kind of lift it up out of the way as this thing goes to swipe at you, and you just stomp straight on its spine, and this thing breaks in half. Once you finish off the last lycanthrope, you still hear screaming coming from
I'm going.
The inner walls of Vietnam.
I'm going. This was a temporary distraction. I am heading for Vietnam.
Cool. So you keep running, and I'm gonna do one more perception check really quick, and add 3.
That's a 13.
Cool. So you see a lot more crows than usual.
Crows either mean a lot of...
even for Vietnam, you see a lot more crows than usual as you're like running in towards the walls.
Okay. What do the crows look like they're doing? Are they circling? Are they attacking and diving?
They're circling all along the length of the clock tower.
Okay.
And they're kind of like fanned out across the top of the city, moving in like this big like circle pit. But yeah, they're just kind of circling the entirety of Vietnam. And you know, all of the grand architecture and shit like that. Literally, think Yharnam from Bloodborne.
Yep.
Where do you think the name Vietnam came from?
There you go.
Yeah, so like, you know, the grand Gothic architecture, the huge churches and shit like that, and eventually, you get to the wall of Vietnam. You get there unimpeded. You figured those were the only 3 lycanthropes that actually managed to get out of the city and head this way. So you finally get to the wall, to the giant gate. And the gate itself looks like something out of Warhammer. You know, all spiky and shit like that. And there's the bodies of a bunch of hunters of the church, which is very distressing because the hunters of the church are nothing to be fucked with, to be quite honest. There's very few things in this world that actually scare you, and the hunters of Vietnam are one of them. So the fact that there's a bunch of hunter bodies out here is very, very distressing. And there's no one posted at the gate. In fact, the entire fucking place seems deserted.
So where's the screaming coming from?
Inside the city walls.
Okay, I'm going over that wall. I had this figured out. I can leap pretty high, actually, with my strength. I can actually leap to the top of a one-story building with no problem, like with no tools. So I throw my harpoon, which will stick, about halfway up the wall, and then leap and grab it. And as I swing myself like on a trapeze upwards, I get a good
Okay.
vault up towards the top of the wall and just carry myself up.
Cool. Roll Dex really quick.
You got it.
And
That's a
add 2 for your strength.
17
Nice.
plus whatever I add.
Shit. Yeah, plus 2.
So 19.
Whenever you're doing like dex shit and it involves like kind of pulling yourself over anything,
Mhm.
you add in a little bit of your strength.
Yeah.
So yeah, you land on the other side of the wall and you fucking see. Oh boy, there is blood everywhere, absolutely everywhere, and it reeks of death. There's crows everywhere picking at the bodies of shit, and one of them actually, you notice, is sucked into a blood pool, and it kind of just disappears.
Okay. A crow got sucked into a pool of blood and vanished.
Yes.
Now, are there any lycanthropes hanging around?
You actually don't see any.
Okay, where's the screaming
You
coming
assume
from?
they're probably further in from the city,
Okay.
which is, again, where the screaming is also coming from.
Do I
But,
know
yeah.
any reason why something would have got sucked into a pool of blood?
Roll beast knowledge.
That is a 14.
Okay, so you've heard tale of some really weird shit because of the blood plague of, the blood plague of Vietnam, and some of the weird shit that they do with blood magic. You've heard tale of something mutating out of it, but that's really about it.
Okay. So there's something to be avoided. I head in the direction of the screams, basically. This is whatever's happening here is a magic problem.
Are you taking any specific path?
No, as literally as direct as I possibly can in the direction of the screaming.
Okay. Really quick.
To the point where carts and wagons and stuff get pushed out of the way.
Right.
Fences, whatever,
Alright,
get
so-
jumped over.
Right. Out of one of the pools of blood, there is a clawed hand that reaches up and manages to grab your boot before it literally sucks your boot off your foot, and another hand comes up, grabs your bare foot, and starts to yank you towards one of the blood puddles.
It's like, oh, no, you don't. And I just take the butt of my harpoon and crush it into the hand.
Cool. Roll strength.
Yep. That would be a 16.
Nice. Is that after your bonus?
That's after my bonus, yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you take the butt of your harpoon and smack it right into the hand, and you hear this high-pitched scream, right? And this weird little deformed thing manifests out of the pool of blood, and all of the blood kind of coagulates into the form of a person, and its hand is completely shattered and it's limp-wristed, and it starts shambling towards you. And following it, you note another 10 do the same thing.
Okay. I leap backwards about as far as I can leap in one leap backwards easily, so a good 10, 20 feet. Reach down to the road and I just grab
Hold
a
on one
paving
second.
stone. Yep.
You were saying.
Okay. Yeah, I leap back just to give myself a little bit of space from these things.
It's about 20 feet.
Yeah. I reach down and I pull up a paving stone from the road and just send it spinning along the road towards them like a 20-pound frisbee.
Okay.
Just trying to
strength.
scatter them, see if I can crush them under it. They don't look very big, so just
Right.
No,
No, it's about the size of an average person.
okay. Plus my bonus, that is a 15.
Nice. Okay. So you managed to get 4 of them, right? The ones towards the back kind of scatter once they figure out what's going on. But one of them squeals really high pitched, and it turns into a pool of blood, and it's literally moving along the ground as this little sentient blood pool, and it's actually really goddamn quick. And I'm gonna make a roll really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. before it gets to you, you just literally start backing away, and you start backpedaling, and it just kind of re-manifests itself as this person. Like literally, it's dripping in blood. You just see the form of a person. It's almost like they're completely from head to toe covered in blood. You can make out facial features and shit like that, and you could actually see rotting skin underneath. But
now,
it's
the
just...
ones I hit, did they collapse? Did they turn back into pools of blood, or did they just splatter?
They just splattered.
Okay, so they can be taken out with physical attacks. All right. So bugger this. This guy's close to me. He's moved up close. I'm just stepping forward, and again, I want to just drive a boot right into him.
Cool.
Just
so
a big stone-covered boot.
Because because your boot is still missing.
Yep.
With your booted foot, you kind of like lean back a little bit, and you bring up your boot, and you just torque kick forward. I want you to roll to hit.
Yep. That is an 18 plus whatever I get the bonus.
That would be your strength, so 22.
So 22. So yeah, I just pull a soccer kick and just boot.
Yeah.
And it's good.
This thing literally like just completely just splatters everywhere. And you actually note your boot comes out of where its stomach would be.
Aha! It ate my boot.
So you slide your boot back on over your foot, and it squelches horribly, and blood kind of like pools itself out from the boot and goes up and over your ankle and shit like that. It's actually rather hard.
Yeah, that's gonna smell, I tell you. Ugh.
Yeah, you just turn back around because you're like, I don't have time for this.
Yep.
You turn back around and you keep running.
Yep, pretty much. I'm still heading for the direction of the streams. I'm gonna take a second.
The clock tower is as good a place as any to start.
Perfect. So. I'm gonna take a second here, and I'm gonna stop the video so that we don't lose anything.
Go for it. Cool. Okay. So you keep running towards the clock tower, and as you get towards the center of the city, you pass by one of the really big churches. There's 5 churches in all of Vietnam, one for each one of the gods. You pass by the Church of the Reaper. So the god of death, pestilence, famine, and the harvest.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people who worship him still, and they actually most of them become grave keepers and undertakers in Drathrian, and they man the undercity of Vietnam. You see a excruciatingly pale-looking man with sunken-in eyes, covered in black robes, with a big stovepipe hat and circular sunglasses. You recognize this man clearly as an undertaker. He runs out of a church screaming, and he's being chased by 2 lycanthrope.
Okay. I try and intercept with a harpoon. Give this guy a chance to run. I got no issue with this Reaper, but I do have an issue with the lycanthropes. So I'm going to try and harpoon one of them if I can. Roll to hit. That's a 17 with my bonus.
Nice. So you get this thing right in its sternum.
Perfect.
And it is pinned to the pavement.
Yep. I leave it there pinned, and I go after the other one.
Okay. The other one's still chasing him, and it's gaining ground very quickly.
And I chase it down. I leap at it as fast as I can, and just, if from behind, if I can, I just try and tackle it.
Cool. Roll to see if you hit.
Yep, flying tackle. That would be a 14.
Nice. So your grip is alright. It's a little bit debatable, because the thing's squirming around a lot. And
as long as that guy can get away, I'll fight it next round.
You managed to get a good hold of it around, kind of where, assumingly, someone's crotch would be.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a hold of it just above its hips, around its abdomen, and the Undertaker kind of runs, realize what has happened because he doesn't hear the lycanthropes coming after him anymore, and he turns around and he pulls out a pistol from his coat, and really quick. Okay, he shoots the lycanthrope that you're holding. He manages to actually shoot it right in its head. The other one, he pulls out a Molotov cocktail and he throws it at the one that is impaled to the ground and staked there. and he throws it at it, and it screams in bloody, abject horror, and it burns literally within a matter of seconds, and it falls to a pile of ash. And the only thing that's left is your harpoon and its skeleton that's on the ground.
Good. Very good. I pull my harpoon up. Watch for the blood pools. They have things living in them. And get everyone out of here you can. This is going to be a nasty fight.
Oh, you've already encountered blood drowners. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, I killed the ones I saw.
Good. I'm heading towards the clock tower. I don't know about you, but that's where I'm going.
That's where the screaming is. That's where the fight is. That's where I'm going.
Good. And your name?
Volfan.
I am Undertaker Orim.
No, never had a problem with your kind. Good enough. Let's go save these people.
And I never had a problem with your kind.
Right. You see anything bigger than these lycanthropes?
No, they seem to be the biggest thing around here.
Alright, well, we'll wipe them up pretty easily then.
Good. Let us be on our way.
I'm already going.
He seems like pretty chipper, given his situation and the fact that he was screaming in bloody horror.
He's a reaper. He likes death.
So,
he's kind of okay with what's going on.
yeah, he struggles to keep up with you, but he's actually managing to keep pace somewhat. And, eventually, now you're kind of unimpeded. You do manage to get to the center of the city. And, here, there's crows flocking so thick that you actually can't see the sky. It's literally like a fucking vortex.
What's with the crows?
Towards the top of the, towards the top of the clock tower. So you look at the Undertaker, Undertaker Orin.
What's with the crows?
And the Undertaker just kind of looks up and says, "Oh, those. Well, you know crows are a carrion bird, correct?"
Yeah, but that's a lot of crows. To be here this fast? A day after the killing, maybe. But to be here in the middle of the fight?
The killing has been happening for many days.
Nah.
They've been flocking here for about a week and a half or so. This is only one of the outbreaks, I shall call them, of the blood plague.
Well, it's the one in front of us is the one we'll deal with.
Correct. Now, if there's crows here, and in such a large number, that could mean one of three things. That could mean that the fighting is about to be over, the fighting is about to get more intense, or that, one of the harbingers is here.
I like the sound of that.
Then let us be on our way. And he just kind of pushes open the doors to the clock tower. And there's bodies of lycanthropes everywhere.
Okay.
Literally everywhere. Some of them look like they've been slashed apart. Some of them look like they've been shot. There's actually a few of them that are pinned to the wall with 4-foot long, like, what looks like a railroad spike, but they're 4 feet long and like 5 inches thick.
Ooh.
And they're like literally pinned to the wall. One of them is crucified against the metal that's in the back of the window. That's the stained glass window at the top of the foyer's staircase. And the Undertaker kind of looks at that one specifically and smiles. And then he begins to walk up the stairs.
Stairs it is. Up we go.
So as you start to get towards the top of the clock tower, the screaming is very clearly getting louder and louder. And also, now that you're at the kind of like the middle, I want you to make a perception check really quick.
Ooh, that's a 16.
Nice. So over the grinding and the clear sound of clockwork moving, you can hear what sounds like a heavy repeating crossbow, and the sound of metal tearing apart metal. So whoever shot these things is very clearly still here. And
Okay.
they seem to be making quick work of the lycanthropes, also moving up towards the top of the clock tower. You can't be far behind them with how loud it is.
Okay, I'll call up. Yo, don't shoot. We're not bad guys. Coming up.
So the shooting stops. And
Whoever's up there just hears boom, 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 up the stairs.
So as you come up towards one of the uppermost floors, you see that.
Okay.
For those of you following along at home, literally the hunter that's on the cover of Bloodborne. Yes.
Nice.
So yeah, you see that holding a massive scythe, and on the edge of its scythe, kind of impaled, is a lycanthrope. And the person kind of makes a big sweeping motion, and the lycanthrope falls off of their scythe. And on their back was really, really well engraved crossbow arms that are almost kind of the way they're supposed to look like as angel wings. Turns to face you and bows rather gracefully.
Hunter?
And the Undertaker also bows.
You a hunter? You look like a hunter.
I am a hunter of the Reaper Church.
Good enough.
He is one of my disciples, and I'm glad you brought him to me, for this I am in your debt.
Good enough. I'm Volfan, the feral one. Hunter.
I am Thevalion Elros, the Harbinger of Death.
It's a lot of names. Volfan always worked for me. What's been going on? Anything big?
Other than an outbreak of the Blood Plague. No, not quite.
Any more of these little punks around to beat on?
Well, given the fact that there's more screaming coming from upstairs, I'm amazed that whoever is upstairs is not dead yet.
Yeah, barricades work.
Does that seem to, trouble you?
No, barricades work just fine usually.
Lycanthropes are very crafty in their ways of getting through to places, I might add.
I don't know, I've had very little dealing with anything as small and puny as a lycanthrope. Usually when I see them, they last about 2 seconds before they become a greasy stain under my boot.
Given your size, that seems about accurate.
I'm more concerned with those things that come out of the blood. One of them ate my boot. It's a pain in the butt to get it back. It's gonna smell for days.
Yes.
Ugh.
You might want to get that cleaned as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Blood drowners, the locals have nicknamed them puddles, used by those few who dwell in Vietnam. The blood drowners are a threat that should not be taken lightly by travelers, or anyone, really. They look like small, hunched humanoids, yes?
Yeah,
With
pretty
clawed
much.
hands.
Yeah. Yeah, one of them
Blood
grabbed me.
drowners were a result of blood magic. They resemble coagulated blood and as such disguise themselves as pools of blood, so scenes of fresh violence are often a minefield of the beasts.
I also noticed they have a limited range of movement as a pool of blood, but then they seem to come back out to attack.
They can stay on the ground as a pool of blood for as long as they desire, but moving as a pool of blood draws a lot of energy for them.
That seems to be the thing. Anyway, they die easily enough. One good kick in the midsection took one down.
As do the lycanthropes.
They're nothing. It's the numbers that are bothersome. And they have sharp teeth. They have sharp teeth. Even bears have a hard time getting through my skin.
Ah, I know your kind. Your ways are similar to mine, yes?
Oh yeah. I live just outside of the walls. I have for a very long time. It's easier than always getting picked on in bar fights or having to hurt people or expect a town watch expecting me to crack heads all the time. So I keep an eye on things from out there.
This makes sense. And as if to kind of punctuate the conversation, another scream comes from upstairs, to which Thevalion immediately begins moving.
Yep, let's go. Enough talk.
So he goes towards the back of the room, and there's no staircase, but there's a ladder to get to the top.
How high?
Thevalion goes up first. It's probably about 25 feet. This room has a lot of clockwork gear in it on the on the walls, and towards the center of the room is the massive pillar that goes up the entire clock tower, and the pillar is rotating. It's free moving.
Okay.
So yeah, he kind of worms his way around the pillar and starts to head up the ladder.
I don't trust ladders. I'm too heavy, so I just jump, grab the edge, and pull myself up.
Cool. I'm gonna make a roll really quick. Okay. So out from one of the walls, something grabs Thevalion. To which he just kind of like sits there for a minute, and he lets it sit. It's grabbing on his ankle, and it's trying to yank him downwards, but he has a really good grip on the ladder. And you notice eventually that maybe after about like 5 seconds, you're kind of like, why hasn't he done anything? And after about 5 seconds, its hand actually begins, the muscles in its hand start to weaken, and he just literally worms his way out of it. And the lycanthrope is looking at its hand. That's like kind of clawed, weird, deformed hand. And you know, all of the blood starts to circulate back into his hand, and it goes to reach for him again, but it misses. And then it looks at you.
And as it looks at me, I just drop the last resort down on the end of its tether right onto his head.
Cool. So I'm gonna roll.
And I literally yo-yo, right, like a kid with a yo-yo, right off the edge, down, smack, back up.
You know, the funny thing is, I rolled a 1.
Yeah.
So the wolf just kind of looks up, and just goes, and its head just fucking splats. And then you yank up the last resort, and yeah, you pull yourself over the edge. And in front of you, you see clad entirely in white.
Okay.
Kind of actually, compared to the rest of the room, which is absolutely covered in blood, pristine. Rather disturbingly so. And she's just hunched over in the center of the floor, sobbing, screaming. And there's actually like a 5-foot spot around her that's also completely clean. Along the walls, you could see entrails of what you assume was lycanthropes. But there's just gore and viscera and blood everywhere. And Thevalion just kind of looks down at the ground, puts one into one of the pools of blood, and nothing happens. So he just keeps walking towards the center of the room, towards this woman. And as he goes to, like, you know, reach out really slowly, he's being really cautious about it, and especially for someone like him. That's kind of alarming.
Yeah.
He's being really slow and cautious about it, and he goes to say, "Are you all right?" And as soon as he says, "Are you?" he just, her head whips around to look at him, and her eyes are glowing bright blue, and out from behind her, like a massive set of wings, it looks like, made almost entirely out of broken glass, manifests and completely just cuts up her back. It's pouring in blood now, and it completely just mars this perfect pure white image that she has about her. And she looks over at him and goes, "You did this." "I did nothing. What are you talking about?"
Easy. We're not here to hurt you.
You You did this to me.
I don't remember doing anything to you. I don't remember ever having met you before.
And she's not having any of it. The more you talk, the angrier she gets. And after maybe at about like 15 seconds or so of Thevalion being like, look, we have no idea who the fuck
Easy.
you before. Like, she literally explodes. And there's like, you could see like kind of the rough estimate of like musculature and shit like that, but where her skin normally would be is just, you know, there's nothing except broken glass that kind of holds the shape of a person that roughly stands 25 feet tall. And these broken glass wings are still coming out from behind her. And this high-pitched scream rings throughout the room. And I'm gonna roll really quick.
Yeah, what the hell is this thing?
The glass on each one of the four faces of the Vietnam clock tower shatters. And Thevalion's hands immediately spring to his ears, and same thing as the Undertaker. And the Undertaker actually like screaming in pain. You to make a roll really quick.
Yep, I'm going to cover my
your endurance.
Yep, that is a 16.
Nice. That's after your bonus?
Yes, that's total, yeah.
Cool. So I'm gonna make a roll for. Okay, Thevalion is also good. But the Undertaker is like screaming in pain on the ground. You actually see blood starting to pour out from his ears between his gloved fingers. And you just kind of, your hands immediately go to your ears, and you're just like, what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What is this thing? Does this ring a bell to me?
No.
No. Okay. Whatever it is,
The only thing I want you to make an intelligence check really quick to see if you could draw a parallel between two things.
I rolled a 17 if it helps.
The glass kind of resembles the razorfish.
That's what I was figuring. Is like this is something to do with the Pale Lady and nothing to do with anything. Whatever it is, it's big, it's dangerous, and it's causing a lot of trouble.
Right.
I don't know that I can leave it be.
Thevalion, at this point, because the thing stops screaming, Thevalion brings his hands away from his ears, and he sees like a droplet of blood, and he just kind of looks down at his hand, and he looks up at the thing, and he looks down at his hand, and he looks up at the thing, and he just kind of takes his scythe off of his back and goes for a swing.
Okay, I'm with him then.
I got a 15, so that hits. His scythe reaps through his fucking leg, the sting's leg, and severs it almost completely. But the thing that's really weird is that after he swings at it, the musculature kind of stays, like, hooked around his scythe. Like he's ripped it out, and he's trying to continue following through, but it's like he's yanking on a piece of rope that's already taut.
Ah.
And the thing kind of slowly starts to form back. And before it assumedly traps the scythe, he yanks it back, and then it snaps back to where it was before.
Well, not one to be outdone. I get a good swing with the last resort, way up in the air, up over my head, about as high, close to the top of this thing as I can reach it, and then I just bring it crashing down the front of it.
Cool. Roll strength.
That plus 4 is a 21.
Nice. So, this
literally
fucking,
right into the ground, from the top to the bottom.
Maith, like, just nails it right in the sternum, because it goes backwards a little bit, so it nails it right in the front of his sternum at about where its collarbones would meet, right? And it just goes all the way down the front of its rib cage, all the way down its abdomen, rips out, like, the bottom of its hips, and just slams into the ground. And there's all sorts of muscle and shit like that, like internal organs that have been stretched out and reformed, and it's fucking gross. And all of this shit's trapped on the end of your scythe, mace. And on scythe, it just kind of sits there and upwards to where it was before.
Hmm.
And you could feel it yanking you towards it.
I activate my belt. I'm now 4 times
Okay.
heavier than usual, so I weigh around 2,500 pounds. And I
Right.
just set my feet and pull back and say, "Cut it free!"
So, yeah, you're just sitting there. This stops moving dead. This beast glass thing reaches back one of its claws and like kind of takes in a breath as it, like, you can hear it, like where its lungs would be, like whistling and like howling, and goes for a swing with its big fucking hand, and Thvalion ducks out of the way and comes back up from you know, all the shit that you got trapped on your what's it called, your flail, and brings his scythe across it, this massive 6-foot like blade on it, like a 10-foot like staff, this siege scythe that he's got. He just brings it across all of the entrails and shit, and just blood splatters all over you and across the wall behind you, and it screams in pain and just abject horror. And the glass that's around the entrails and the muscle shatters and it just falls to the ground. There's now blood pouring out of its front.
Well, that worked.
So Thvalion, at this point, takes his crossbow off of his back, the adamantium nailer, and he, you know, kind of like just lets his scythe fall on the ground because there's no place he could feasibly put it, and he takes the 2 arms, the angel wing arms, he puts his hands underneath them, pushes upward, and it kind of goes up into the air, and he catches it in his hands, and he takes aim directly at its head and just lets loose, and it's just poof, 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 poof. Just endless repeating. And I got a 14 with his bonus that he has. That's a 16. So he's just aiming at its head and its chest and its general area. He manages to get a couple nails in where its esophagus would be, and it starts coughing. Another one embeds itself in its collarbone, and the nail, the giant fucking railroad spike nail, is actually beginning to be pushed out. The glass itself is kind of coagulating around it and like kind of slowly moving along the shaft, and it actually pushes out, and it's just giant clang as the railroad spike falls on the ground.
All right.
And Thvalion's just kind of like, oh.
I just step past him, pick the spike up off the ground, and ram it as hard as I can right into the spot where it was before. Just.
Into the collarbone?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Roll to see if you hit.
That would be, with +4, would be a 16.
Nice. So it embeds itself right back where it was before. But all of the glass begins to coagulate along the shaft again. And it actually almost entirely envelops the nail, and it starts to go over your hand. And you could feel your skin shredding as the glass is moving over it. So what do you do?
You know what? I turn the nail sideways and rip it back out.
Cool. So
like I jam my free hand up against the damn thing, like pin its head to the wall, turn the nail a bit sideways, and pull backwards as hard as I can. If strength can't do it, try harder.
Roll strength.
Okie dokie. That is a 19.
Fucking savage. So you take your fucking hand, your big meaty hand, and you just grab the thing's ear and yank it into the wall, and or yank it towards the wall, and it like an elephant, this thing literally like starts screaming and is pulled towards the wall. Thvalion covers his ears. Really quick. Yeah, Thevalion covers his ears, and he's just kind of sitting there, like, with his hands over his ears, just watching you. Like, dude, what the fuck is this guy doing? And, roll endurance really quick.
Yep. That's
Plus two.
Plus 2, so 15.
Cool. So your fucking head is ringing like a goddamn bell. You could actually feel blood beginning to pool at the bottom of your the drums of your ears. So you kind of shake your head and you just yank harder.
Yep.
And this thing crashes into the wall, and you take the nail and you turn it sideways and you jam it towards its head. Roll strength again really quick.
Mm-hmm. Plus 4 is 23.
Fucking awesome. So you literally impale this thing by its throat, like it goes up its esophagus, through its throat, and into its chin, and into the roof of its head, and it just immediately silences. And it just falls over. Like, all of the muscles and the glass and the blood and shit like that just stops flowing, and it immediately just freezes. And then it just falls to the floor in this big fucking pool. And Thevalion's just kind of sitting there like, and you have the giant fucking railroad spike and like still in your hand with like, and all of the glass that was in your hand is vanished. It's gone. All of the glass that was in the room actually does the same thing. It just vanishes in like this kind of weird little like ethereal mist. And Thevalion's just kind of sitting there like, you're a talented hunter.
Well, you helped, and I hand him back his spike.
And your name is Volfan, correct?
The only one I have.
Hopefully I see you again soon.
My territory is 5 miles and a square around the southwest portion of the wall out from Daggerdale. You're always welcome to stop by. I make my own mead, keep bees, always have something on a plate.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
Anyone who harbors a harbinger of death, clearly either one of two things: knows nothing of who we are, or cares not for who we are.
Nah, I care about what you do.
And what I do is hunt.
Yeah, you saved lives today, you helped people, and you took down a big beast. You helped me anyway. It's good enough for me.
I was going to say you took down the big beast.
Yeah.
I merely gave you an opening.
Good enough. It's good enough for me.
You have my respect. And he walks over to you, and he has in his hand a small silver coin with a fanged skull on it, and he hands it to you.
Thank you.
Keep this on your person.
I will.
At any time, if someone just like me comes to you and says, "It is time," hand this to them.
All right then, I will.
These are called a mark of death. Essentially what they do is they give you a get out of jail free card. It means you have helped one of us, and for this we will give you extra time on this earth.
Aha. I've already been here a very long time. I expect to be here much longer.
I assume so. I bid you good day.
And you.
And with that, he just without another word, bows gracefully again and walks off. Undertaker Orin, is conspicuously motionless.
He seems to be dead,
And,
isn't he?
yeah. Orin, Thevalion looks over to Orin and kind of flips him on his back and goes through his pockets, takes a couple things, notably a couple vials and Molotov cocktails, removes his sunglasses, puts them in his pocket, closes his eyes, puts his hand across his chest, and leaves him be. And he walks out.
Okay. Well, I walk out too, see if there's anybody left alive out there.
Virnom is eerily silent.
Is there anyone around?
No.
I'll go up and ring the bell, see if that brings anyone out of hiding.
So yeah, you go up to the top of the clock tower again, and you manually ring the bell, and you start to hear shutters unlocking and doors unlocking and opening.
Yeah, but it's usually
And,
it's usually a signal for all clear. I
Yep.
pass through the
And,
town. I pass through the town gently. Like I don't. I try not my best. I try my very best not to scare anyone. You know, I wash any blood. I tell them, "You all seen me in the woods, or if as you're passing by, you know I mean you no harm. The danger seems to have passed. The Undertaker, the town's Undertaker, is dead. He's up in the clock tower. Do what you do with your dead for him, and start cleaning up. Beware of standing pools of blood that don't dry up within an hour or so. Avoid them."
And all of the townsfolk, well, what few of them are left, are just kind of like, okay, yeah, they're just kind of like, you know,
They're
like,
a
they're
bit
just
in
gonna let
shock,
the big
but-
man talk, you know?
Yeah,
They're just
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
let the big man talk.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
quite know
And
what to
then I just you know, any of you who have lived here long enough know that I live outside of town. If there's more trouble, ring the bell. I'll hear it.
And there's an older soul that's like, he kind of recognizes who you are, and he's like, I can confirm what this man is saying. It's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, he kind of vouches for your tale, and you know, everyone sets about cleaning up.
Mhm.
Just like you said, they avoid, you know, standing pools of blood.
Thing is, blood that isn't possessed is going to be brown, dried, and black within an hour.
Exactly.
And at that point, it's nothing. If it stays fresh past that, kill it with fire.
Yep. But yeah, so they just kind of set about cleaning up, and you take near the exact same path as you took in, avoiding a couple streets that you know to be infested with blood drowners, and you make your way back into the woods like nothing happened.
That's what I do. I was there to help.
So that's really all that I had planned for your intro campaign. I hope you enjoyed
Yay!
it.
I
hope you
really
guys
enjoyed
listening
that.
at home enjoyed it.
Yep.
And let us know what you like to think in the comments below, and you know, like, subscribe, blah 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 blah, all the usual YouTubey shit.
Yay! Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, so after this, I have dinner right now. So after
I'm gonna
this,
stop
I
the
will
video. We're
very
gonna take a
gladly
break.
enjoy- Okay. I was gonna say I will rather lovingly enjoy running the first actual campaign.
Yes.
After I
Yes.
answer Dom's couple questions, he sent me an email response. So yeah, Dom, once I get back, I'll answer any questions you have if you want in on this, and yeah, we'll get it started and we'll get you going.
Bingo. Perfect. I'm gonna cut the video right here.